Hello again, welcome back to the channel. I'm at Sebring today in Le Mans Ultimate, trying out the new GT3 car, the Ford Mustang, and yeah, we'll see how well we do in this race. Qualifying didn't go particularly well. I managed to qualify right at the back. I'm not quite sure which split this is in, but yeah, qualifying really didn't go that well for me. I'm not hugely experienced with this track. I think I'd only ever done a few laps in R-Factor 2 a few years ago. So yeah, I'm finding this track to be quite technically challenging and difficult. So yeah, we'll start from the back and we'll see how far up the field we can get.
Formation lap has started.
Right, so we're just putting onto the main straight, lining up ready for the race to start. Waiting for the lights to go out, and we're going. So I'm going to be on the outside going into turn 1, so just keeping an eye on where the cars are, thinking that they might run wide a little bit, so I'm going to try and run wide as well. Give them lots of space.
Hold your line.
Trying not to lose out too much to the cars in front. Also trying to use them as a reference to know where to go because, yeah, as I said before, not hugely familiar with this track, especially in Le Mans Ultimate. It's the first race I've ever done here, so yeah, trying to follow the other cars through as best I can. Losing out a little bit though, but at least I've gained one position so far. As the guy behind gets presumably disconnected. So back to last, technically. Anyway, going a little bit wide through the hairpin there. So the aim at this stage was just to try to keep up. I wasn't really expecting to gain too many positions. Yeah, just hoping to learn from the other cars, as they appear to have a bit of contact themselves. So it's quite nice watching the other cars in front fight, to be honest, because that slows them down and allows me to keep up.
Yellow flag sector 2.
As I think there's another car in the barrier off to the side there.
We think that outlet has gone off.
So we're all getting a little bit bunched up around here. So my aim is to try to get a good run out onto this back straight, keep up with the pack, and try and stay in the slipstream and yeah, hopefully not lose out too much. So going into the final corner.
Track temps increasing. It's now 35 Celsius.
A few different lines people are taking through that corner. Still not sure which is the best. I tried a few myself throughout the race.
Green flag sector 2, V16.
Yeah, just see the other cars pulling away ever so slightly. Yeah, a little bit frustrating. I just don't know where the the time is around this track and how to keep the speed up through the corners. Also finding that I don't know if it's the new tyre model or just this car in particular, but yeah, it does feel a lot more understeery. It makes me feel like I'm driving ACC again. I've always struggled with understeer in that sim, so I think it might just be my driving style or the way I use the brakes. I'm always trying to get rotation through the brakes and trail brake as much as possible, but it just doesn't seem to work. I end up slowing the car down too much. But without the brake, then I don't get the rotation. So I'm doing something wrong somewhere. So yeah, if anyone has any advice for that in the comments, please let me know. So yeah, just trying to keep up with the pack here.
We need to be in front of this guy.
Thank you, crew chief, for stating the obvious again. So yeah, you can already see that the cars in front are just pulling away, but I definitely don't have the pace to keep up here. think I'm changing down a bit too much as well. I think I've heard a couple of other YouTubers talk about the engine sounds after this update, or maybe just this car, that they end up changing down a bit too much. I don't know if that's playing into it or just because I'm just not used to both the track and the car, but anyway. So at least I can still see the pack ahead. I'm not losing too much time, but I'm definitely not keeping up well. As we break into the complex, you can see from the replay camera I'm not hitting all the apexes and using all of the track. I find it very difficult to pick a proper line through. I think also part of the problem is the seating position within this car.
The gap to 15th place ahead is now 0.9.
It's something like the McLaren 720S. I think you're just sitting maybe higher up, or you've got more visibility out the front of the car, whereas in this Ford Mustang you're sitting, well, it feels like you're sitting lower within the car, although I think it's a bit taller anyway. Yeah, just visibility is just a little bit trickier, but that's just me coming up with excuses for not being fast, I think. Having said all that, I'm keeping up with the cars in front, so not doing too badly at the moment.
Nagi is getting closer. The gap's come down to 0.5.
So the person coming up behind is one that I think had an incident before. Cutting the track a bit there, gaining a little bit of time on me. If he's going to do that, then okay, there's not really much I can do to fight this. If he's going to overtake, he's definitely close enough to lunge up the inside, and I know I don't really have the speed, so
On your right.
he manoeuvres on the inside to take the position.
Battle at Mark. Come on, don't let him get away.
But yeah, it's just to show how slow I am around that corner. It sort of takes off into the distance. So yeah, I need to study this track a lot more, especially the last and first corners, the complex, and well, I suppose most of the corners really.
The guy in front is Nagi. The gap to Nagi ahead is increasing. It's now 1.5 seconds.
So I can see them all squabbling for position up front, which is good in a way because that slows them down and allows me to keep up. But with all the difference of lines and changing of position, it's very difficult for me to try and see what they're doing, to try and work out how they're quicker than me.
Car ahead is no way.
They just seem to be able to manoeuvre the car around faster than me, but yeah, struggling with the understeer, or at least more understeer than maybe they used to be, especially through that corner there. We're just slowly pulling away. So yeah, I'm definitely doing something wrong. So more to learn. So trying to use all of the track around here. Trying to cut as much as I can get away with, and use as much of the runoff on the exit. Down this really long back straight. So I am taking a bit of a different line than the others through there. So
That lap time was 2:05.68.
maybe that's partly contributing to why I'm slow around here. So back into the complex once more. And they just pull away off into the distance again. I have to say though, this car, this new one, it does feel quite nice around this track. In the practice session afterwards, I did try the McLaren 720S, and I don't know, this Mustang does feel more stable somehow, as I take advantage there of someone who's come off. It does, the car does ride quite nicely around this track. It's quite bumpy, there's quite a lot of suspension travel and give, this fixed setup. Because I nearly run into the back of the McLaren. Whereas trying to drive the McLaren around here, I found it quite nervous and twitchy, but I could see out the front a lot better, so that had that going for it. But I must admit, lap time wise, it was about the same. As the guy behind is looking at the inside.
Right side. Clear right.
So at this point I'm just trying to stick with him. And foot flat to the floor, and he still pulls away. So I don't have any damage at this point, but I've definitely not got an optimal line through there. Having a cheeky look up the inside, just to see if that's possible, but not in this instance. And someone's a bit slower there after going off, so make a educated dive up the inside. First real proper overtake, I suppose, I've done. I think it was the only one in this race. Yeah, I'm not sure if there was contact there or not. I didn't think there was, but yeah. Trying to keep it clean. Anyway, having a look at these two up front, as they're squabbling, there might be an opportunity, but I have to back out the throttle a little bit to avoid running into the back of them, and now you just start pulling away again. So trying to have a look up the inside a little bit, take advantage of that little instant there.
You've got half your fuel left.
It was just trying to get the nose in, not really succeeding. I've tried various lines through that last corner in practice sessions, trying to either cut it and take more of the curb, or maybe go over the, well, it's dirt, isn't it, not grass, on the inside a little bit. And whatever I do, it just destabilises the car and I end up losing time. So there's definitely a faster way through there, but I haven't found it yet.
Yellow flag, sector 3.
Back onto the main straight.
Green flag, sector 3. We think Smythe has crashed.
Past another incident. Right, so as we pull onto the start-finish straight, this lap coming up is actually the quickest lap that I did during the race. Not massively fast, but I'll talk you through it anyway. So went a little bit wide through the first corner, a little bit too far out into the runoff. Trying to hit the braking point. I'm probably still too far over to the left, but just tapping the curb on the inside, which is what I was aiming for. And same sort of story here, probably not going out and getting a wide enough entry, but that's something I'm going to try and work on. So accelerating down here,
Okay, Mark.
looking for the braking point. It's just after the 400 meters, yards, probably yards, because I think it's an American circuit, isn't it, in Florida. So yeah, not too bad through there, still up on the delta, which is good. Keeping an eye on the cars ahead, trying to follow them. Right, so I'm braking at about the 300 board. Carried a bit more speed through that right-hander than I had done previously, which I think helped. Although the delta is going down a little bit, so maybe not. Then trying to hang it through the right-hander, but carrying enough speed, but trying to battle the chronic understeer that I just seem to feel with this car, or maybe it's with this update, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, nice tight line through the double left-hander. Then again, just trying to roll the car in through this right-hander, across to the left, over the white line, trying to bring the nose in for the right-hander, and then out onto the straight, trying to use as much of the runoff as possible. And we've got a nice long run down into the last corner, keeping an eye on the mirrors, just trying to spot where to turn in. So sort of starting to brake just as the wall passes me on the right hand side, which may or may not be right, but it seems to work for this lap. Accelerating out and across the line.
That was 2:05, 1:1. Good luck. That's your quickest today. 5 minutes remaining, 5 minutes left.
So 2:05 definitely isn't fast. I think the leaders were doing 2:02s. I really don't know where I'm losing 3 seconds. I think my best in a practice session subsequently was about 2:04 or low 2:04. Well, I've got a lot of work to do for this track. But here things seem to quieten down a little bit. There's a bit of a gap in front and a bit of a gap behind, so just trying to keep it smooth, try and look after what's left of the tyres, and just sort of thinking about bringing the car home. So trying to hit the apex there and the hairpin. It's a bit tidier than some other attempts that I've done previously. Just following the track round, keeping an eye on the cars in the distance, trying to see what they're doing as I run a bit wide. Lose a bit of time there, and try and position the car over to the left hand side for this dodgy right hander, which isn't too bad. I'm changing down to first there. I probably don't need to do that, but it just helps slow the rear down to just turn the car around a bit more.
The gap behind is now 1.2 seconds.
I have tried it in second, but I just seem to then understeer through it, so again I've got to work on that, I think. Yeah, you can just see there that the guy behind's making progress and slowly starting to catch up, which isn't really what I wanted for the last couple of laps of the race. So coming up to the final corner, turning in about the 200 board on the brakes, trying to get the nose of the car turned in, but running a bit wide there. Maybe the brake bias is a bit too far forward, not quite sure. Just checking the tyre wear there just to see.
That lap time was 2:06.20.
See what state the tyres are in.
We think that Matty and Gaspar have gone off. Sector 1 is now green. Okay, Mark, the next car is Gaspar.
So I'm now behind this McLaren who has lost his rear wing. Does a very good job at not losing it. Acceleration there.
Right side. Clear right.
At some point, though, the Ford behind managed to get right up behind me, carrying a lot more speed through those, through the slower corners just before. So he's right on my tail. But I know we've only got a couple of laps left, so yeah, just trying to focus on my line and not get distracted.
2 minutes to go, 2 minutes.
But yeah, he's still right there. So through this right-hander, I know I'm quite slow through that one in general anyway. But yeah, hoping that he won't have enough speed to try and make a move. Not that I think it's really doable through these two left-handers. But I know I'm slow onto the main straight as well, so yeah, for now just rolling it through these sweepers and then yeah, trying to get a good run onto this back straight, which I think I do okay, or at least I've created enough of a gap to keep him behind, so I think he's out of range for a lunge up the inside. So coming up to the final corner now, turning in and just trying to run it through, running a little bit wide I think, and maybe taking a tighter line than I need to. I find that corner very difficult because obviously the tighter the line, the shorter the distance, but the slower the speed. So yeah, I've managed to keep him behind anyway. So trying to roll it through the first corner, not too bad. Could have maybe carried a bit more speed through though, not using all the runoff on the exit. Now through this sort of complex here, where I know I'm definitely slower, because I think that's where he gains the time previously. You can see he's right up behind again, so yeah, I think that's definitely the part of the track that I'm losing time on the most. Anyway, trying to go a little bit defensive into the hairpin here, but you can see in the mirrors that he's not in a position to try and lunge up the inside, so that's okay. Now just accelerating out through these couple of corners here. Making the braking point, rolling it through. Still fighting with a bit of understeer here. Then into this dreaded right-hander again. The camber also catches me out as well, although didn't do too bad of a job through there this time. So I know there's only a few corners left, so again, the thought of trying to get a good run out into the back straight is in my mind at this point. So just trying to roll it through these corners, keep up enough speed, get the nose in, and then back onto the main straight, trying to use as much of the curb on exit as I can safely get away with. And again, yeah, checking the mirrors, I think I've got enough of a gap. So hopefully there'll be no lunge up the inside, so as long as I don't mess up this final corner, I should be able to maintain the position. So running a bit wide, the front tyres just giving up a bit. And there we are across the line, finishing 12th overall, but only just. So yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you, bye.